Hello and welcome. We're so thrilled to have you with us today. Our team at the EASL Lab is excited to guide you through this training on play-based SEL kernels, supporting social and emotional development, learning, and well-being in Ukraine. We hope you find this session inspiring and full of practical tools to support the incredible work you do. Let's get started.
Our goals for training today are to explore how social and emotional skills develop, learn how educators can support social and emotional development, and examine how social and emotional supports buffer the impact of stress and trauma. Our ultimate goal for this workshop is to provide you with a more comprehensive understanding of social and emotional development. By the end of this workshop, we aim to help you understand how social and emotional learning builds teacher and student well-being and offsets the impact of stress and trauma.
I'm Stephanie Jones, a professor of child development and education at the Harvard Graduate School of Education and the director of the EASL Lab. My research, anchored in prevention science, focuses on the effects of poverty and exposure to violence on children's social, emotional, and behavioral development.
My name is Rebecca Bailey, and I'm the Associate Director of the EASL Lab. My research focuses on two areas: the development of executive function, self-regulation, and social-emotional skills across early and middle childhood, with an emphasis on understanding how poverty and trauma impact brain development and learning, and the design, implementation, and evaluation of SEL programs in both U.S. and international settings.
My name is Sonia Temko, and I am a research manager at the EASL Lab. My research focuses on contextualizing and adapting social and emotional learning for cultural relevance in diverse contexts.
I'm Emily Stoles, and I'm a research assistant at the EASL Lab. My research interests include equity-focused SEL, play-based learning, and understanding the ways in which schools support the developmental needs of children and adults.
Hi, my name is Brian Nelson, and I am a senior project coordinator at the EASL Lab. I primarily work on the Explore SEL website and related projects, where my efforts focus on the coding and analysis of SEL frameworks, programs, and measurement tools.
My name is Chelsea Rubin, and I am a training specialist at the EASL Lab. My work focuses on developing and facilitating training and coaching sessions for educators and other adults within school communities to promote their well-being and social and emotional competencies.
In this first section, we will discuss how social and emotional skills develop. Social and emotional learning refers to the process of acquiring the knowledge, skills, habits, attitudes, and mindsets that help students and adults to be successful in school and life. Social and emotional skills are used in each and every interaction by both young people and adults. For example, as we sit together in this training, we're all engaging our abilities to focus, remember key information, and collaborate effectively through discussion. What words come to mind for you when you think of social and emotional learning? Take a moment to reflect. Social and emotional learning encompasses a diverse set of skills and competencies. Throughout the pilot, we worked with teachers to identify the core social and emotional competencies that are most relevant within the current Ukrainian context. The following domains emerged through this collaborative effort. Cooperation involves the process of working together to achieve a common goal. Mindfulness is an open awareness of our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Cognitive skills are the functions within our brain that help us complete everyday tasks, such as our ability to focus, remember, and control our impulses. Emotional intelligence incorporates the ability to recognize, comprehend, and manage our own emotions, as well as the ability to recognize and understand the emotions of others. Teacher well-being refers to how teachers respond to the social, emotional, and cognitive aspects of their work. Teacher well-being can be impacted by external factors like our job and by internal factors, including teachers' social and emotional skills. SEL kernels are designed to promote the first 4 skills among children. Teacher well-being kernels and supports were developed for adults. Later, we will discuss how teacher well-being is an essential component of SEL, which underlies the growth of these other skills. Children are not born with these skills. They grow throughout the lifespan. Social and emotional skills are shaped by experiences, especially social interactions and relationships with family, peers, teachers, and others in our community.
Cooperation skills are needed for effective communication and collaborative work with others and include respect for each other, taking an active part in interactions with others, and adhering to rules of conduct. Cooperation skills help students work together on a team, solve social problems, and coexist peacefully with others. This is especially important in the classroom where students are learning and working with others, as well as for students' ability to form and sustain positive relationships with others. In the first scenario, imagine these children are 6 years old. One of the children feels upset because they want to have a turn jumping in the middle. The child in the middle doesn't want to give up her turn. The child who is upset decides to ask the teacher to help resolve the conflict. This child exhibits leadership through taking the initiative to involve the teacher to help, conflict resolution by thinking of a solution, and communication skills by talking about her feelings with the other children. Now, the second scenario depicts a situation among 11-year-old children. For instance, imagine that these girls are classmates. The girl on the right notices her classmate is upset and approaches her to ask if she's okay. She hears that her classmate feels stressed about a conflict with another friend. She offers to listen and asks if there's anything she can do to help. They decide to go for a walk together to think of potential solutions. This scenario demonstrates relationship building and communication skills, as the girl listens and responds to her friend's needs, demonstrating her communication and relationship building skills. What differences do you notice between the scenarios? Think about a child you know. How are they expressing or experiencing cooperation skills? Take a moment to reflect on your answer.
Mindfulness skills include regulating the body, emotions, thoughts, and behavioral reactions to stress or difficult life experiences. It's difficult for students to learn and play with others when they're experiencing stress or distress. Mindfulness helps students regulate their bodies, feelings, and thoughts in times of stress and dysregulation. The power of mindfulness includes other attitudes, mindsets, and skills that support overall well-being, including optimism, self-awareness, and self-confidence. At 6 years old, imagine this child was feeling overwhelmed by loud noises in the classroom. During his free time, he decides to draw pictures because it helps him calm down. Being able to recognize his emotional state and engage in a calming activity shows self-awareness and an ability to cope with distress. At 11 years old, imagine these children playing a soccer game. The boy accidentally causes their team to lose a point. When this happens, he takes a moment to breathe deeply to ground himself. After the game, he says, "I missed that pass because I wasn't paying attention. Next time, I'll stay focused and talk about the play with my teammates." By taking a deep breath, he's able to ground himself. This grounding exercise helps him engage in self-reflection to think about how he lost the point. Although he made a mistake, he demonstrates resilience by thinking about how he can improve his gameplay in the future. What difference do you notice between the scenarios? Think about a child you know. How are they expressing or experiencing mindfulness skills? Take a moment to reflect on your answer.
Cognitive skills such as executive functioning and critical thinking enable children to process information and manage their thoughts, feelings, and behavior toward the attainment of a goal. Cognitive skills help students when they are faced with everyday tasks that require self-control, concentration, planning, problem-solving, coordination, or making conscious choices between different options. At 6 years old, these children focus on the teacher's lesson, and the student exhibits self-control by raising his hand and waiting to answer a question. At 11 years old, these girls learn a new dance and teach each other the steps. They use their working memory to process the sequence of steps and add new movements. They also demonstrate their listening skills, focus, and creativity. What differences do you notice between the scenarios? Think about a child you know. How are they expressing or experiencing cognitive skills? Take a moment to reflect on your answer.
Emotional intelligence skills include recognizing, interpreting, and responding to one's emotions and those of others, and the skills to understand and accept different emotional states and other people's points of view. Emotional intelligence skills are critical to positive social interactions and building relationships with peers and adults. The ability to recognize and regulate emotions and to understand others' perspectives, needs, or feelings helps students to have positive relationships with others. At 6 years old, the boy notices his friend is by himself. He asks if he'd like to play with him on the seesaw. The boy demonstrates his ability to recognize and understand his friend's emotions. He shows a sense of empathy before asking him to play. At 11 years old, the children see that their classmate is upset because he's struggling to understand the school assignment. They say, "I can see you're nervous about the assignment. Do you want to work together on it?" The children in this scenario express, recognize, and understand emotions. They're able to verbally articulate each other's emotions and act accordingly to help their friend. What differences do you notice between the scenarios? Think about a child you know. How are they expressing or experiencing emotional intelligence skills? Take a moment to reflect on your answer. For the next 10 minutes, brainstorm examples of behaviors that students exhibit at different ages within each domain. For example, first graders may use their cognitive skills to help them follow their teacher's directions. Try to develop a few examples of behaviors within each domain.
SEL development doesn't simply unfold, but is shaped substantially by our experiences in the world and the context in which we live, learn, work, and play every day. The interactions and experiences that a child has with different people and systems and their environment impacts their overall development. This may include their relationships with their families, teachers, and friends. It also may include the media they interact with or policies that impact their daily life. Creating supportive conditions and opportunities helps children develop the skills they need to thrive. Take a moment to reflect on the following question. How do teachers shape the classroom and school environment to support children's social and emotional development and help children thrive? For example, teachers may provide a caring space or allow children to talk about feelings. What other examples can you think of? In this section, we will discuss how educators can support the social and emotional development of their students.
Social and emotional skills are built through establishing psychologically safe, caring learning settings with predictable and consistent routines, instruction in social and emotional skills where students have agency, connected, supportive, reciprocal relationships. Relationships are the cornerstone of social and emotional development. Part of the teacher's role is to give students the tools they need to interact with and meet the social and emotional demands of school. Different children will require different types of support, so teachers need to apply a diverse set of strategies. Students develop social and emotional skills within a psychologically safe and caring environment. Teachers who have high-quality and trusting relationships with their students are better equipped to manage issues that arise in classrooms. High-quality relationships are characterized by warmth and responsiveness to student needs alongside clear boundaries and consistent consequences. Balancing warmth and discipline is key to creating a nurturing space for students. Students feel psychologically safe when their learning environment has clear rules and consistent routines. This may include songs or a signal that helps students transition between activities, or structures like a daily morning meeting to check in on feelings or experiences. Adding a sense of predictability within the day helps students manage and regulate their behavior. Finally, classrooms are fast-paced and constantly changing. What works one day might not work the next. Teachers should check in on their students' social and emotional needs regularly. Taking notes can help teachers identify patterns and improve their interactions with students and their overall classroom management plan. Creating a psychologically safe and caring environment involves both prevention and building the social and emotional skills that both students and teachers need to navigate situations at school. SEL kernels provide opportunities to strengthen relationships with and among students by practicing social and emotional skills together. The kernels highlighted here include strategies that can help teachers build nurturing relationships. The purpose of Cool Kid is to make sure every child feels like a valuable member of the classroom community. Cool Kid builds the confidence and self-worth of each student. It also helps students to notice and appreciate positive things about their classmates, which improves relationships in the classroom. Feelings Tree aims to help children learn how to talk about feelings in healthy ways. This activity creates a space in the classroom where children can go anytime they want help talking about their own feelings. Providing this space demonstrates your care and concern for your students' well-being. Modeling and practicing emotional regulation together through belly breathing can enable both teachers and students to manage their emotions effectively. When we turn down the stress siren in our brain, we are better able to connect and communicate with others. Finally, the name game provides an opportunity to build relationships by learning about students' interests. Alongside cognitive skills like focus, working memory, listening, self-control, and creativity, the name game can be used to encourage students to share their hobbies and personal interests with their classmates. Now take a moment to think about your previous experiences working with children. Did you have specific routines you used to build relationships in your classroom? What was your favorite way to help students build relationships with one another? We invite you to pause and reflect on these questions. Our team will compile and share your responses after the training to provide you with a consolidated list of strategies.
It's important to acknowledge that this work can demand a lot of emotional energy. We need to prioritize taking care of ourselves in order to effectively support our students. Research on teacher well-being indicates that teachers with stronger social and emotional competencies have more supportive relationships with their students, utilize more effective classroom management strategies, and more effectively teach social and emotional skills to their students. When do teachers need to care for themselves? What does it look like when teachers care for themselves and prioritize their well-being? Take a moment to reflect on your response. There are many supports that address teacher well-being. Before we begin the last training section, we'd like to practice one of the teacher well-being kernels, which can be used anytime you need to calm your mind and shift your focus. Introduction. It can often feel like a challenge to make time to slow down and focus on the present moment, but spending even a few moments breathing and calming our bodies can help us connect with others. If you don't already do so, consider trying mindfulness or meditation practices to explore the relationship between yourself and others, foster self-compassion practices, and stay present in each moment. This might help you be more focused and in tune, less stressed, and better able to regulate emotions and show compassion to others in times of stress. If you don't already have a go-to meditation practice, explore these apps for meditation in Ukrainian. Steps of the activity. Find a quiet environment and allow yourself at least 5 minutes to meditate, turn inward, and become aware of your thoughts and feelings. For a simple breathing technique to use while meditating, try box breathing. Imagine the shape of a square box in your mind. If you'd like, you can use your finger to trace the shape of a square box in the air. With each breath, imagine drawing one side of the box. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Exhale out your mouth for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Repeat several times. You can continue this practice as long as you would like. Try to stay in the present and bring your attention to the physical sensations. When you notice your thoughts wandering, bring your attention back to your breath. Offer yourself appreciation for doing this practice. Reflection. Was it easy or hard to focus during this practice? Why? How could you create conditions that make it easier to completely focus on the present moment? How did the practice make you feel? Accept whatever feeling that may be, comfortable or uncomfortable. During the pilot, we learned that teachers were seeking support in understanding how to help their students during crises. It's important to recognize that children and youth will each experience and respond to stress and trauma in different ways. In this section, we'll explore how social and emotional support can help buffer the impacts of stress and trauma. In our work, we often discuss the stress cycle that exists within the classroom ecosystem. When children experience stress in the world, they can exhibit it through classroom behaviors. These behaviors can cause stress in adults. When adults are experiencing persistent stress, it affects their ability to regulate their behavior, which impacts how they respond to children. Consider an example of a student who's yelling out in class. Depending on the self-regulatory skills of the adults in the room, that child might be calmly redirected, or they might engage in an escalating set of arguments with the teacher that leads to classroom removal. This is a key moment for us in terms of how we think about interrupting stress and building healthy ecosystems. Although we can't change the stress we face in the outside world, we can try to respond to that stress in ways that reduce harm in the classroom ecosystem. Classroom environments contribute to students' experiences of stress, and/or they begin to heal students from experiences of stress. Teachers are critical to healing.
How does stress and trauma impact our brain and behavior? When we encounter high levels of stress, experiences that threaten our physical or emotional safety, the reactive centers of our brain kick into gear. This is evolutionarily adaptive. If you think about encountering a lion on the street, it makes sense that your brain would shut down its higher order cognitive functions in order to focus on survival, what we know as the fight or flight response. But this process, which can be adaptive, can also be harmful when it happens in our everyday lives or happens frequently without an opportunity to come back down to baseline. When the brain goes into heightened alert, it shuts down the prefrontal cortex, our decision-making or control center, the part of our brain that helps with planning, goal setting, and self-regulation. This means that toxic stress gets in the way of our executive functioning skills. And when toxic stress occurs regularly, it starts to interrupt the processes in our brain that support executive functioning. For children who have experienced complex trauma or persistent toxic stress, it is critical to provide settings that help slow down the amygdala by reinforcing feelings of safety and calm, and help children reactivate the prefrontal cortex by teaching strategies that reinforce and re-engage executive functioning. Creating a safe and inclusive classroom environment is important for all children, especially those who are facing conflict or violence. Learning how to talk about emotions is essential for healthy child development. Research shows that experiencing chronic stress or trauma may impact social, emotional, and cognitive development, including children's capacity for executive function and self-regulation. Children may show a wide range of reactions and emotions in response to trauma, loss, grief, and conflict. High-quality social and emotional learning programs can improve these skills and other outcomes, buffering against the negative impacts of stress and trauma. SEL programs such as Kernels help students to feel safe and give them opportunities to practice emotion and self-regulation skills and build high-quality relationships. Educators can help buffer the effects of trauma by developing a sense of safety in the classroom, promoting healthy relationships, and teaching emotion and self-regulation skills.
Providing a space where students feel safe to talk about their emotions is critical for social and emotional development and mitigating the effects of stress and trauma. After reviewing the findings from the pilot, we discovered a need for support when discussing emotions with young people. As a result, we created the Guide to Talking About Emotions. This guide offers advice on which kernels best support these discussions and guidance on using appropriate language within your setting. To support teachers' implementation of kernels, we've created a variety of teacher supports, which you will learn more about with the master trainers. These resources support both teachers and students' social and emotional development. We invite you to take some time to think about your learning from today's training session. Reflect on the following statement and fill in the blanks. I used to think blank. Now I think blank. Thank you all so much for joining us today and for your dedication to supporting social and emotional development, learning, and well-being for children in Ukraine. We are so inspired by the incredible impact you are making in your communities and are grateful to be working together. We hope today's training gave you valuable insights and practical tools to carry forward. Thank you again for being here and for all that you do.